At Life Hack Coaching, we help women over 35 to balance hormones naturally, boost metabolism, and lose weight sustainably. Welcome to the show, everyone. Today I have Laurie with me. She's a founder of Sisterhood Collective, business mentor, and also podcast host herself. Laurie is all about helping women to reconnect with themselves, take a bold action, and create lives that truly feel like theirs. From military deployments to building business across the globe, Laurie brings a unique blend of energy, insights, and also strategy to everything that she does. Laurie, thank you so much for joining me here today. I would love to dig into your journey, your thoughts on perimenopause as well, because you know my listeners are women in their 40s that go through this change in their lives, and I want to talk about how you stay connected to your purpose and how you deal with all the challenges that you had come across and the things that life throws at you.
Thank you for having me, Anna. You know what? It's funny. Straight away, I sit there and think, you know, women everywhere, we are all going through very similar things, whether it's trauma, whether it's perimenopause, whether it's life changes. And even though they could be different, you know, what you're actually going through, it doesn't matter. What I find is as we get older, we need to connect more with each other and lean on each other. And that's what we're not doing. And when we're younger, we're too busy competing against each other. And as we get older, this is the time to find those few people that support you, that love you no matter what, that are going to tell you, you know, maybe you shouldn't do that. Like, be honest with you. And then just hold your hand through everything, you know what I mean? So I kind of like this era or season of life right now as we hit this, you know, over 35s, or maybe for some of us a little bit. But yeah, thank you for having me on the show. I'm just excited to be here and chat with you. Do you know what? I think one of the things that you've said is, how do I kind of manage everything with so much going on? And the biggest thing that I've changed, and you know what, particularly this year, is to live with intention. So really, I mean, we don't always know what we want. We don't have to know what you want, but I know what I don't want. And even if you just know what you don't want, I think that's a really, really good start. But so now everything I do is with intention. And if it doesn't align with me as a person, my values, or where I'm headed, it's time to really rethink the benefit of that in my life and cut it out. And that's what I'm getting stronger at doing.
You're so right. Like, I've noticed even with myself, the older I get, the more I can't be bothered putting up with shit. You know, in the past, I remember like, oh, somebody didn't invite you somewhere or didn't message you, I would get so wind up about it. And now I'm like, I can't be bothered. Like, I don't care. I don't want your drama. I just want my peace. And I just want to surround myself with people who will celebrate with me, who will celebrate and talk about me even if I'm not in the room, right? Someone who you can connect with and you actually align on values and not just friends with because, I don't know, whatever reason. So,
well, friendship's super important. Like, you know, we listen to heaps of podcasts in this space and we go to seminars and we listen to people talk and we're inspired by people every day. And something that I must have been listening to or watching just recently, somebody said, I've got all the money in the world. And I'm like, oh, yes, who doesn't like money? We all do, right? It buys things. But he said, but the number one thing that is the most important thing to me in the world is my people. In that particular case, he was talking about his wife. And he said, you know, they're with you through this entire journey. And he said, so the thing that I did throughout all my businesses and I think he was a multimillionaire, he said, was I stopped for the weekends and I allocated time to my family because they're important to me. And as you get old, you don't want to be lonely. This money, you want to be sharing it with people. And so, you know, I must have listened to this maybe 2 years ago where it really resonated with me. And I thought, you know what, I need to start being more present and start choosing who I want to spend my time with and then invest in that, just like you invest in yourself when you want to grow or build a business or whatever it is that you're doing. So investing in people right now, super important. And I mean, it's intentional living.
Yeah, definitely. All right, back to the business. So I want to really talk about your business and your journey and your lifestyle and the changes that you're going through because you moved half across the world. And how long it's been? A year, 2 years now?
Yeah, 1 year, year and a half maybe.
1 year. And how awesome was it when we managed to meet in Dubai? Like you drove from Abu Dhabi and came and meet in Dubai. It's like we're both, you in Australia, I'm New Zealand, and let's just catch up for lunch in Dubai. How awesome was that? Like
So
this is,
nice.
yeah, and that just shows, like, I've really appreciated you doing that, because I've been to other places where I was way closer to some of the friends or people that I know, and they didn't come to me, and you made it, yeah, you made time and you made it work and you came and met me and we had a lunch. That was fantastic. That was like so awesome. So I really appreciate that. Anyway, let's talk about the business. So you build multiple businesses, right? And you're going through some big, really big personal changes and also professional transitions that you've had in the last year. So how's your approach to your life and your work evolved as you've gotten older?
You know what? It's really being clear on what I want out of life. And what's important to me right now is lifestyle. Freedom, as you just said. I've moved across the other side of the world. And I do want this sense of freedom. And freedom for me is time. Sure, it's a little bit to do with money, but more importantly, it's about choosing what I do with my time. And so I'm just really clear on what my purpose is in life right now, like who I'm here to help, what I want for myself, why it matters, like really being clear on my why. And that's kind of how I'm living my life. I realized in Australia and some of the previous things that I was doing that I was just in this, I guess, position in life where I felt stunted, like I couldn't grow anymore. I felt like this little baby in like this eggshell, and I'm like trying to hatch out and go, I know there's more for me. I know I want more, and I know it's not here, and I'm not sure where it is. And so
Yeah.
because I already have some businesses here in the UAE, I decided, you know what, that's going to be my first stepping stone. And I'm not going to say I'm here forever, because who knows, but I'm like, that's where I'm going to start. And so I sold off businesses in Australia, closed one as well, and packed up anything that anchored me to Australia because I can. And then I just came over here and thought, you know what, I'll work it out when I get there. And I did. Here I am. I'm happy. I'm so happy. I love it here. And, I've been here 18 months and I sit and think, I don't know when I'm leaving. Like, I feel like it could be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It could be tomorrow. And it doesn't matter, but I'm happy right now. And it was the best move. And then since doing, I've got a new mentor. I've met some new people. I'm opening another business, launching next month here. I'm starting a new business with some new business partners. I'm looking into new investments. So much is happening because I'm putting myself out there. I'm connecting with new people. I'm not letting all the changes that are going on with my body, which they are, by the way, just in case anyone's thinking, how does she do all this? I'm like, yeah, I'm dealing with it as well and noticing new things about myself, but I'm just not letting it hold me back. And I'm just listening to my body. And if my body says, Loz, you stay in this weekend, then I stay in this weekend. And I'm not afraid to say no to going out for drinks, because for me right now, nutrition's important. Someone got a little bit of extra belly fat, the body composition just got a little bit softer. Of course, I'm not happy with that. I'm like, well, you have to do something about it. And it takes, for me personally, to get kind of rock bottom kind of style where I'm just not happy. I'm like, this is not Loza. You have to try to snap out of it. And then I can't snap out of it. And then I'm like, all right, we'll do it again. And I just kept having a go at sticking to my nutrition until it stuck.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at right now. I'm in this process of, stripping a little bit and trying to, get a little bit firmer and get that body back. But it's hard work, and I get it.
Yeah.
And if you want it, you have to put. It's not easy.
Yeah, definitely. When we spoke before, you mentioned that you haven't really, your perimenopause was quite subtle and you haven't noticed like big changes. But what changes have you noticed that were different?
Yeah, motivation is a huge one. I'm sitting there thinking, why don't I want to do anything? Like I'm usually.
How many businesses have you got? What do you mean you don't want to do anything?
Well, you know what? So sitting at your laptop, scrolling and being unproductive isn't doing anything. It is literally being unproductive. Is that even the right word? Unproductive.
It doesn't matter.
And what you can find yourself doing is, I'm not going to go out this weekend, I'm going to work from home. And so you stay at home. And in my case, I'd be drinking more, or I'd be, getting delivery service because it was easy and time efficient, but definitely not good for the waistline. And then I'd be scrolling on my computer, but without having clarity on what I wanted to actually get done, because I had the brain fog as well, I wasn't actually moving forward. I'm like, and so then I'm questioning myself, I'm like, what on earth is wrong with me? I'm not depressed, but I'm not me. And, you know, I'd have these questions with my mom and with my bestie, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not happy, but I'm not happy. And I'm feeling lonely, even though I've got friends here. And so it was working through those things, but you know what, was talking to someone about it. And what I did was, here's how I helped myself to give you some tips on what I did, was I spoke to a few people in my circles, but from different circles. So they've met me at different stages of my life and they know me, you know, in a different capacity. I'm like, when you look at Loza, when you see me and you see me thriving, I'm like, I'm happy, Loza, I'm energetic, or, you know, I'm just grounded even. What am I doing? What are you seeing me doing? And I got 3 to 5 answers from each of them and they all matched actually. And I'm like, oh, and that helped me get away from the fog and then come back to center, I suppose, and go, right, you're on the right track. You were just getting influenced by all the noise out there and starting to get lost in your own space. So that's where it comes back to intentional living. So, okay, this is what makes me happy. And then when I worked out a few things that made me happy, I decided, Anna, that 2 things had to happen. They had to be non-negotiable. So I had to set boundaries around doing those or allowing me to do those. And the other thing was that I needed to put them on the calendar. So if happiness for me or filling my cup meant going on a holiday, and meant putting it on the calendar, booking it. If it's hanging out with people, it's setting up a Zoom chat with my girlfriend and talking for 7 hours to Melbourne, or call my friend in Brussels and we sit there on a Friday afternoon from 3 to 5. We have a glass of wine together and we just chew the fat. We chat. And I get off there and I'm like all chuffed, and then I'm energized and I want to do more and I'm feeling good. And I'm like, I'm going to have an early night. I'm going to get up tomorrow. I'm going to go to the beach, take the dog. Do you know what I mean? So when you're in a good, you have a positive outlook on life. You've got this, what we call kind of like a growth mindset. And I don't mean growth in you have to go and make a business, but growth in that you are open to opportunity. You will see things, you see the good things. And when you're down in the dumps, like I was, drinking too much, not eating well, watching television, so all the things that make me procrastinate from moving forward, that's this fixed mindset. I didn't want that. And I couldn't pull myself out of it. And that, I feel, was part of the perimenopause process.
Yes.
So asking for help. But I didn't know that at the time.
No. And it's a lot of people because, you know, like it used to be such a taboo to talk about menopause and perimenopause. And even now when I speak to women and I go, you know, where are you at in your perimenopausal journey? Because they come on the call and they go, well, I'm 46 or I'm 47. I'm in my head, I'm like, you're 100% in perimenopause because the average age for menopause is 51. So perimenopause starts anywhere between 10 to 15 years prior to this average age, which means like mid-30s. That's when perimenopause starts. And first that I hear, no, I still got my period. I can't be in perimenopause. I'm like, perimenopause is actually the time where you're starting to experience changes where your progesterone drops first, your testosterone starts to follow, then your estrogen starting to drop. And the first signs of it is anxiety, depression, brain fog, this feeling unmotivated to do anything, but you're kind of motivated, but you're kind of unmotivated to take an action. Like you want to do things, but you don't want to get off the couch to do things. You kind of just want them to happen, right? So that's the kind of the start for most people, and they don't see it. Like my first signs were anxiety and panic attacks. And that's when I got diagnosed with ADHD, because that's when I started experiencing hormonal shifts first. And that was mid-30s. So as I went deeper in, that's when all other symptoms slowly starting to come in and knock on the door, go, my turn, can I come in? Oh, look, that's your cat. Anyway.
That's one of my rescues, yeah.
Your rescue cat, beautiful girl. Yeah, so it's amazing how a lot of women don't know they're there and they think it's the business of their lives or it's something else happening or they don't know, they think something truly wrong with them. But it's most of the time it's the entrance of perimenopausal life. But I guess what I like about this stage of life is the clarity that comes with it. Yes, you get a brain fog, 100%. You feel like half-done person sometime, most of the time. But the clarity in your life comes in. Like you know what you want and what you don't want. and what your boundaries are and what you're going to compromise on and what not. And I guess that's why, you know, like they used to say, as you get older, you get wiser. And I think, that now I see that it's with lack of hormones because we don't want to tolerate shit anymore.
Right. And then you have this new sense of confidence. So as you say, you know what you want, you know what you don't want. You have this new sense of confidence where you're comfortable to say no to things, or you're comfortable to say to somebody how it is, or, hey, I don't like how you're speaking to me. Actually, either you're undermining me or you're actually putting me down. And that is a good thing. It's such a powerful thing to be confident and to speak up for yourself. And that's what I notice, is that there's no more of this BS going on. You're like, I'm not putting up with this anymore. I am a woman on a mission, even if it's just for myself, and I deserve better. Anyway, but you're more, and that also I think leads to being a little bit more fearless. You're ready to take a go at things. And so you're actually in your prime of this womanhood where you should be taking a chance, because the worst thing that could happen is not taking the chance. Because if you fail, who cares? Keep going. You know, tomorrow still comes, but do what you want. That's what I think is so important in this phase of your life. When you have got this new sense of confidence and you're a little bit more fearless, it's finding a tribe, and it is taking a chance on yourself. If there's this little side hustle you want to do, or this art class that you want to do, you want to get out there and you want to do Zumba. Woo!
Yeah.
Go and do it. Well, yourself. It's okay. I think.
And that's when it's important to have that sisterhood, and that's the business you've created, right? So tell me a little bit more about sisterhood.
Do you know the reason, for this very reason, the reason I have started the sisterhood was because I had a lunch with a bunch of girls after COVID, you know, when we were all craving connection.
Yeah.
And we're sitting around, and all of these ladies were 35 to probably about 48 years old, and they didn't really know each other too well. And they're from all different walks of life from my circle as well. And I remember champagne flowing, of course, but we're all sitting back and I took a moment to take it in, and I was listening to the conversation, and everyone was having the same struggles, and everyone was like, you know, oh, I've had a divorce, and, you know, this is what I did. Oh, do you want me to put you in touch with, and blah, blah, blah. And so what you're seeing is, one, connection. Two, hey, I did that journey and I'm okay. So that's inspiration, like, you know, and social support there, and resource sharing, and I guess saying it's okay. And that's what I wanted to create, was a space where women can come together and do that. And then, you know, I'm building on that now, because I want people, you know, so many women want this freedom, which is generally starting a business of sorts. And now I'm, you know, starting in that space as well, where I'm helping people start their businesses, blah, blah, blah. But so that's kind of the inspiration behind it. But I'm going to go back a little bit to the perimenopause thing.
Yeah.
When I sat at the table, a bunch of the women there were like, oh, I just want to train. You know, I've put on too much weight. Now, of course, I owned a gym, which I still own gyms now, but I owned Ultra CrossFit back in Brisbane at the time. And I said to the girls, well, what if I run 2 sessions a week and we just do some strength training? Because as you know, strength training is so important. And when you're not motivated, when you come together as a group of women, 4 of us every Tuesday and Thursday met, and I just put like a program together, and we were doing some, you know, serious strength training. And they're like, oh, well, pay you. I said, no, don't pay me. But at the end of it, what we did is we all went to lunch instead. So we met Tuesdays and Thursdays, and even twice a week, we literally saw changes. We literally gained strength. Your body was firmer. End of the 12 weeks, we did a ladies' lunch. And it connected even deeper. And as you can imagine, friendships were born there. And there's that, you know, connection that's still there. And now we're all at 4 winds of the world. But, you know, Brussels, UAE, and 2 of them are still back in Brisbane. But that really highlighted that people need connection. And all it takes is one person to organize something. And people are like, yes, I'll do that. Well, you know, let's do it together. Because when you've got a battle buddy, you are... why we do this, but we're okay to let ourselves down, but we're not going to let someone else down. So if I've committed to meeting you like today at 6 o'clock in the morning, I will be there.
Like today, it's 6 a.m. for you, and I really appreciate you being here.
That's the whole. It's all about leaning on each other, isn't it?
Yeah, I think women's connection is so important, and as I get older, I miss that. like I'm realizing that I want to have that group of girls to go for lunch or to go to a sauna or to go just do the girl stuff where you can dress up nicely and have some nice food and not worry about anything else and just talk, just talk some random stuff that cares, right? Yeah, I think that's what I'm craving, being stuck up because my kids are still quite little and I work from home, and that sometimes kind of feels I don't see anyone. The only people I talk to, my clients or my podcast guests, and it does get a little bit lonely. Like you're right, it's a different loneliness, right? It's like it's different. It's like you're craving just that. Maybe I don't know, like sometimes I look back and go, am I craving or kind of grieving my not teens years, but when you were like carefree person as I'm getting older, or what is it, or am I missing what am I missing?
You know what, I did a podcast on this particular topic and it was like, I'm so lonely, but I've got all these friends. And I think I was saying to you about a year ago, it was about September, October last year. So we're talking 7 or 8 months ago. And I was driving to go and see friends. I even said to them and reached out and said, I am lonely. And they're like, oh, Loza, we should connect more. But the reason is everything we do is inside, and you can still have friends around you and still feel lonely. But you know what? It's also okay to feel lonely. And I think that's something we be okay with. But you do have to put yourself out there. Like me having the dog, we talk to anybody that kind of looks at us. We're like, hi. And that can just that loneliness, just having a random conversation. What I find is that you're walking across the street at the supermarket, anywhere. Everyone's got their phone and they're looking down.
Yeah.
Not even talking to you, acknowledging. And so I just say good morning or hello just to get that engagement. But, hitting the gym or going to a different gym or, starting a group or like what I do because I'm so far away, my friendships, my people are really important, and I schedule in Zoom meetings. I can't be there, but sometimes I'll order takeaway or I'll get my food and we sit there and we have lunch together with a glass of wine or a coffee date or whatever because, time zones. And we still do it. We connect because it's important. And you have to, it's one of those things where if you want something and if you want an outcome, you're going to make it a priority if you really, really want it. But sometimes I think you need to feel what you would be like in that outcome. So if I'm feeling lonely right now, schedule an appointment, a catch up with Anna.
It's appointment.
Counseling. So I schedule an appointment with you on, say, Saturday. And then I sit there and I just visualize that moment. I'm getting ready for it in the morning. I sit there and I have a chat. We laugh. We talk about things. We get things off our chest that are, we're venting a little bit too. We're talking about some good times. And then at the end of that, I'm smiling. And I visualize myself smiling. And I visualize myself going, I spilled my cup. My shoulders go up. I just naturally, and then I'm going to get up out of that chair after we've chatted, and no doubt I'm going to feel motivated. And that's enough for me to want to feel that. Something that's really important is that there's toxic relationships and there's ambivalent relationships. And ambivalent is better because the toxic people in your life and you already know that you should cut them away. And for reason you haven't, or you're working really hard to back off on that a little bit. But ambivalent relationships are the ones where it's too hard to catch up. And you said right at the start, I made the effort to drive up to Dubai and come and meet you. That's because it's important to me. But if I had have gone, I can't really be bothered. Well, you don't want me to come there anyway. Like, what sort of attitude am I going to have? It's all an effort to be there. I'm not going to be present in the moment, and that's not real. And so they're the dangerous relationships. You need to look in and go, well, one, am I a good friend? And two, why is it that I am not making enough time for that person? And then cut it, keep it, claim it, do what you want. But, look into that you're not making the time for, and then make a decision that don't waste their time. And don't show up. Like, the energy that you put out is going to be received by somebody else. If you answer the phone, you see the number and you're like, oh, hey, oh my gosh, you've just set the tone for this crappy conversation. Don't do that. Like, don't answer the phone. If you're not in the space, it's okay. Mate, I'm going to call you back. Anyway.
No, that's cool. That's cool. So, like, for women that our age category and they're feeling a bit stuck, what would you recommend? Like, what's your advice to them, how can they navigate their lives and, going through these hormonal changes and whatever other changes happening? With a lot of women that change careers right now, right? Because they're like, I can't put up with that shit anymore, so I'm going to change that. Or what's your advice? Like how to get that clarity on what's next?
I would say the number one thing is get support. Surround yourself with women who uplift you. If you are around positive people, you're going to get caught in that energy. If you were wanting to, thrive a little bit more and you were, joined a mastermind or a group of women and you surround yourself with those people that are moving forward and building businesses or investing or traveling together, you are going to get caught up in the current of whatever you surround yourself with.
Yes.
So look there first. That's what I would say, because you don't need to overhaul your entire life. You might just need to tweak one little thing and it's going to be a game changer.
Mm-hmm. So if they want to find the Sisterhood Collective, where do they need to go? What's your website? What's your Facebook page name? Give us details.
Yeah, we have a free Facebook group called the Sisterhood Collective Lounge Room, and that's really a connecting space. And then I've got a membership as well, which are those women that want to go a little bit deeper. I find clarity is the hardest thing at the moment. We get stuck in a life that we've suddenly woken up and found ourselves in, and I'm happy, but I'm not happy, but I want more, but I'm not sure what it is. And so we kind of take them through a journey there to get this clarity, find their new purpose, and also do a self-assessment on where you are, because I do that every quarter anyway and suddenly realize, I didn't realize, I'm not as high up on the level in, my friendships as I thought. I need to put more energy into that this next quarter. And so we're in Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on the website. I'm sure it'll be in the show notes. But I think the parting words I would like to say to your listeners, or to anybody really, is don't let labels define your limits. You're still powerful and you're still capable.
That's powerful. Well, thank you, Laurie, so much. I know you have to go and run your 100 businesses. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
If you have any questions about this podcast or about hormones, weight loss, or just healthier lifestyle, please go to our website at lifehackcoaching.co.nz or feel free to email me directly, Anastasia@lifehackcoaching.co.nz.